Respected members on the dais, respected Mr. Shashi, who was very gracious enough to give me such a warm introduction, respected audience, such stalwarts amidst the audience today. Good morning, everyone. So low energy, I thought. I guess you guys can do a little better. Good morning. All right.
I think you can swim against any tide.
All right. Well, I'll take up the challenge, sir. By the end of my 10-minute presentation, I hope that I would have brought a little bit of perspective towards the audience as well as my fellow speakers here today. The subject that I was asked to speak on was fostering innovations. The best way I could do that was to share a little bit of my work over the last 4 years of my corporate journey. As you all know, I've been an international swimmer. I was a very young professional athlete at 14 when I had qualified to represent India at the grandest level, which was at the World Championships. I was only 14 years old. But I also started earning money through sponsorships when I was 16. So it was a very big responsibility. I never went to school. Although I was enrolled at CHENNAI, I was never part of the active school cycle. I never attended a day of regular college. I only used to go and take up exams. The only actual learning experience that I had was the first day of my class in MBA in 2013. So as a 23-year-old, I'm sitting in the first day of class after my 7th standard. So this is actual facts. Now, I run an engineering institution. There is a huge problem, and I am one of the major culprits for the problem that we all face today. And I own up to that. A gentleman before me spoke that GDP of engineers contributed 54%, sir. India's youth population is 54%. People who are under the age of 30 constitutes 54% of our population. 85% of them are unemployed. We also had our moderator from the Heritage Foundation who said, we don't take care of geriatric care, and we had Mr. Shashi touch us very emotionally on how he couldn't spend enough time with his grandmom. With all due respect, today's youth don't even have time for their own parents, which is a very, very big problem. If you look at, thank you for the one person who clapped for that. So, but if you look, a serious problem with today's youth is right from your educational system, which breeds only memorizing capabilities. If you ask a 12th standard kid, what is your major motive, he would say marks. And how are those marks judged? How are we judging the youth of our great nation? Is through the capability of them to memorize content and reproduce it in a set duration of time over 3 hours, over 5 subjects, which aren't the end of the world. And that's how we judge. That's how we judge our engineers. That's how we judge our doctors. That's how we judge our trained professionals, our skilled professionals. Only through exams, only through the ability for you to memorize set content and reproduce it. So that's what I wanted to change after I finished my MBA in the US. And I came back. I started Ignite India, which is India's largest youth innovation platform and an ecosystem where we go right after the problems at the school level, where the habit of memorizing starts. So we started this in 2014. We have held over 160 innovation conferences across Tamil Nadu, along with the government of Tamil Nadu, school education department. And at this particular conference, entry is free, and all innovators are open to showcase their innovations. I must commend Istd for allowing youth to start this particular conference through their innovations. Please give them a huge round of applause. If you look at most conferences today in CHENNAI, or throughout India, we always ignore the youth, and there is only like-minded professionals who would have easily bumped into all of us in other conferences, and that's the usual crowd. Where is the young blood space in today's day and age, which is why you confine them to their WhatsApp and their Facebooks, and they don't have time for anything else. So I would also like if the ISTD could publish that they actually allowed youngsters to start off the program. It could mark as something of a huge path-breaking change that the Indian conference network would definitely benefit from. So thank you for that. But on continuation with my Ignite India's journey, this was an initiative which was inspired to me by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He was a mentor for me from when I was 14 years old. And I took up this idea to him and I said, and of course, like, you know, we all hear the stereotypic dialogues of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He says, dreams are those which don't, which aren't the ones which come during your sleep. It's the ones which don't let you sleep. But one of the major things he's written in his book is what I've been doing for the last 4 years, which is Ignite. We must enforce change in the school education and the college education system. A set syllabus of an engineering syllabus, especially if I have to pinpoint the major culprit, which is me. We train students on what syllabus was learned 20, 25 years ago. It's the same thing that our kids are learning today. But the corporate world, the industries, they're all moving at the speed of light. And when you look at the education system in the Western world, the kids there learn the future. And our kids memorize the past. So that is one of the major mistakes. And through Ignite, I have managed to sort out a few of those problems and bring out certain young innovators who've done phenomenal stuff. For example, there was one, you must all be aware of the Sterilite protest which came across. There were a couple of young innovators who actually were part of a research and development study in Tirupur, the dye manufacturing industries there, to create an innovation which helped ease pollution, and we had submitted that to the Green Tribunal to use that as a method of audit. So if you look at it, these are 18, 19-year-old kids, and most of them, we incubated them right from when they were 16, 17 years old. So you must realize that genius grows in tons at Tamil Nadu as well as in India, especially in the youth circle. But what we need is a lot more mentors, such as yourself, to spend a little bit of time to guide those young minds. Because if you don't, then what you sow, you will reap. If we don't give enough time for the youth, then they will grow up into something which you may not want them to. So I have a couple of minutes. So I would like to do something here which I'm sure, not sure how many people have done that before, but I would want to dream along with you. I'd request the panelists, Mr. Shashi, who's on his phone, but also the audience to close their eyes, just for a second. I want you to envision, yes, please. I want everyone to close their eyes just for a couple of minutes. I want you to dream of our India as it is right now, with all the problems that we face individually and collectively, in our personal lives as well as in our businesses. All the problems that we will discuss over the next couple of days, all the problems you've been discussing for years and years. Now please dream of a new India with me. An India without poverty or pollution. An India without hunger or corruption. An India which protects justice and rights. An India where we cease wars and fights. An India where every person has access to affordable health care. An India where people from different cultures and gender are treated fair. An India offering sanitation and quality education. An India that offers economic growth that enables responsible consumption. An India that is green. An India that is clean. An India we dream right now, but an India yet to be seen. Now imagine India that we dreamt at the start and compare it to the India that we dream within our hearts. Now, my dear audience, please open your eyes. This is the India that I dream. And with your help, we can definitely accomplish that dream. Thank you so much.